form and may also be saved for this purpose. The photos and videos are used exclusively for the public relations or documentation purposes. For those who doesn't want to be on the pictures and videos can turn off the camera. If you want to remain anonymous, you can change your name. Moreover, our conference is being broadcast in parallel on YouTube. Furthermore, simulation translation is provided during the entire event, and you can switch the language at the bottom of the menu bar in the translation icon to the English or to the Ukrainian. Both are available. So, dear participants, we are pleased to welcome you to today's conference, 482 Days of Full-Scale War, Ukrainian Organic Export, Challenges and Opportunities, which is organized by the State Institution Entrepreneurship and Export Promotion Office in the framework of the state project Dія.Бізнес, together with the Organic Standard Certification Body and Organic Initiative, and supported by Switzerland within the framework of the Swiss-Ukrainian programs, higher value added trade from the organic and dairy sector in Ukraine, and organic trade for development and Eastern Europe. So my name is Andrei Lithin. I am Deputy Director of the State Institution Entrepreneurship and Export Promotion Office of Ukraine, and I'm coordinating export services for Ukrainian companies and both for foreign buyers. Today, I am one of the two moderators of this conference, and right away, I would like to introduce you to my colleague who will moderate the part of the conference, Natalie Prokopchuk, who is Organic Component Coordinator at Swiss-Ukrainian Program, higher value added trade from the organic and dairy sector in Ukraine. Natalia, are you with us?
Of course. Welcome to everybody, and I wish us a successful event today.
Thanks. It's worth noting that this is the second event since the beginning of the war dedicated to the state and development of the organic sector in Ukraine, which remains one of the priorities of Ukrainian agricultural policy. And the main objective of this event is to show how Ukraine and Ukrainian companies continue their work during the war. To this end, today we have gathered representatives of state bodies, representatives of Ukrainian business, and of course our foreign partners. They will tell how they managed to save jobs, Ukrainian companies, export products, work during blackouts, and in general about the crisis management. We'll also hear a view from outside of Ukraine, from our foreign partners, of what it's like to work with Ukrainian companies. Moreover, today in a separate panel, we'll have representatives of international projects who will share their current programs for businesses and possibly success stories. I inform you in advance that presentations and video recording will be sent to the participants to the registered emails. We also invite you to write your questions to the speakers in the chat because we'll have Q&A sessions. The answer will be provided in the allotted time. If you have any questions about the technical support of the event, please write in the chat, and our technical support will be happy to help you with the solution. So let's start our conference, and I would like to invite to make an opening statement, welcoming remarks, Taras Vysotsky, First Deputy Minister of Agrarian Policy and Food of Ukraine.
Thank you, Andrei. I would like to welcome all the participants of today's event. It's an honor to talk about organic producers of Ukraine. They're really brave and have shown great resilience during the very hard war times. We have been managing and highlighting it a few times that despite all of the difficulties, the organic export from Ukraine to European Union has been increased, and all the organic producers keep working on. Also, we have a good news for the institutional capacity building of organic production in Ukraine. I mean that we have the first certification of certification body according to the Ukrainian organic legislation, which, by the way, has been adopted to the European Union standards. So that means that we can increase the institutional capacity, which is very important, again, to keep being resilient. We are sure that with such approach, with such event as today, and at this moment, I want to thank all the organizers, the Export Promotion Office, the Swiss-Ukrainian project, the Swiss government, and the people who are today with us, moderators, Andrei, Natalia, our international partners, Sylvan, and others, which constantly, which is very important, constantly, sustainably support the organic production and development in Ukraine. And I am sure that today's event will be, again, some addition to this very hard but successful story of Ukrainian organic production and Ukrainian organic export. So I wish all the participants to get something new, some new ideas, some new connections, and some new directions for development, become more knowledgeable, and keep developing its own business. On behalf of the government, we are really thankful for all the producers who keep working despite all the challenges, and wish the successful event today. Thank you.
Thank you, Taras, for warm words. We really appreciate it that you found time in your quite busy schedule, because this event was really difficult to organize, because it was really difficult to invite government representatives, because they're all traveling, they have business travels, a lot of work to do, but also this is fascinating and perfect that the Ukrainian government is still working. Even our director now, who has to be at the welcoming speech now in the business trip in Paris in OECD conference. So I think this is great that we are still working, we are continuing to work, and we're even developing. And now I would like to invite to the welcoming speech our second speaker, our partner, Sylvan Henderbulle, Program Manager, Trade Promotion Division, State Secretariat for Economic Affairs, Sector Switzerland. Sylvan, the floor is yours, please.
Thank you so much, Andrei. Can you hear me well?
Yeah, it's perfect.
Wonderful. So good morning and dobro ranku to everyone here present today. It is a great pleasure to meet virtually the many partners and greet all of you on behalf of Switzerland. Particular pleasure to meet the Deputy Minister Taras Vysotsky, Deputy Minister Kachka, and of course also Director of the State Institution of EEPO, Andrei Remizov. I would also like to especially welcome all the private sector representatives present here today, for whom our partners and we organized this event. It is ultimately you, as the first Deputy Minister has just mentioned, that they will have to, make this work despite the difficult circumstances. So maybe just to tell you a little bit of the background of Swiss support to Ukraine, we have been partnering with Ukraine since the 1990s for economic development, especially to create sustainable prosperity and jobs. And for this, we need thriving producers and businesses. And in particular, we have been active in agriculture since about 20 years already, in organic agriculture since 2002. And currently, there are 2 Swiss programs in the organic sector. One is the Quality Food Trade Program, and the other one is the Organic Trade for Development Program. And through these 2 programs, we work to improve the regulatory framework, foster collaboration in the organic sector, and ultimately also attempt to support the creation of exports. So one of the results of this work has been an improvement or a development of the regulatory framework, which was drafted, adopted, and is now ready for implementation. And this is very much also thanks to the long-term and hard work of the Ministry of Agrarian Policy and Food, the State Service and Food Safety and Consumer Protection, and of course all the Ukrainian organic stakeholders that were supported by the Swiss and other international projects. We also, through these 2 projects, promote Ukrainian organic exports together with private and public sector service providers. This work includes, for example, the participation of Ukrainian organic exporters at the National Pavilion of Ukraine at Biofach and other international trade events. And here we are really happy to count on the Entrepreneurship and Export Promotion Office as our key partners in trade promotion. Also, of course, today in this event that we're currently opening. As the First Deputy Minister has mentioned, it is perhaps also partially due as a consequence of these efforts that the export performance has been relatively good over the last year. So despite the full-scale war, the volume of export organic products from Ukraine to Europe and Switzerland was 13% bigger in 2022 than 2021. And that is really thanks to the extraordinary efforts, the bravery, and really the resilience of organic exporters, the whole organic sector, and state partners as well. And we know that this year, 2023, will be another challenging year for everybody. And that is why Switzerland, at least, has decided to continue the support to the Ukrainian organic sector based on the needs that arise. So our projects will continue to work together with our partners. We adapt the support continuously to meet the needs of entrepreneurs in the organic sector as the situation develops over time. So the Quality Food Trade Program, for example, will enter a new phase, a second phase, hopefully starting next month. It will continue to foster exports and to provide support for the Ukrainian development of regulatory frameworks and the business environment. And in particular, as was already mentioned, also the alignment with the European Union regulation. So we're very happy to be able to continue to count on strong partners and key state partners such as the Ministry of Agrarian Policy and the Food and State Service of Ukraine on food safety and consumer protection. I would also like to mention that the Quality Food Trade Program is currently already in contact with different Western European supermarkets with the objective to place Ukrainian products on their shelves. This is work that is ongoing and that hopefully soon will create also tangible results. And in parallel to the Quality Food Trade Program, the Organic Trade for Development Program will continue its implementation, currently in the form of a public-private partnership in Rivne Oblast. This is a sort of a pilot and represents the first experience on such a project, and we hope that this initiative will enhance the cooperation between Ukrainian producers and importing companies to further the support to development of the Ukrainian organic sector and to increase the presence of Ukrainian organic producers in the international markets. So today, on this export conference, I think this is really a great opportunity to highlight the work of organic stakeholders in the export market. I was just in Ukraine last month, visiting many of the partners here today and visiting many organic businesses. And I can assure you that they are ready and very eager to export. So just to really highlight, they are in business and they are open for business. And I would like to thank the organizer of today's event that this can now happen. And I hope that this event will really lead to concrete business relations, which will be to the mutual benefit of Ukrainian companies and their partners abroad. So with this, I wish you all nothing but the best, and may you have success with this. Thank you, and have a nice conference.
Thank you, Silvan, very much for your warm words and the support that Switzerland provides. I actually had a one-shot question regarding your visit to Ukraine, but you already answered it because it was really interesting to know your impression, because a lot of people, they're thinking that the Ukraine is in the period of war, that everything is difficult, the blackouts, the missiles attacks, nothing's working, a lot of risks, but you were here. We had a meeting just a month ago, and it was interesting to hear, I think, for participants and the foreign buyers, what is your impression? So, but I think that Ukrainian businesses continues to work, everything is okay, everything is good. So at the morning, it's the same period, the people are buying coffee, going to their jobs, they're still working, continues to work, so everything is okay. So thank you again for your support, for your help. We appreciate the cooperation with the Swiss project. It's very important for us, and to see how the organic sector develops even during the war. Thank you very much. And also, I would like to add that nowadays, I can very easily answer the question why foreign buyers should buy Ukrainian products. Not because of the price or not because we are top of some rankings, just because we make several times more efforts than our competitors in the world to ensure that our products reach the final consumer and satisfy all the needs. This is the most important thing today. And Ukrainian business works in any conditions and is able to ensure timely execution of the contracts. And now this is probably my part of welcoming remarks. Unfortunately, as I mentioned, Andrei Remezov, the director of the institution of our office, couldn't join today because he is in OECD meeting in Paris. But as an office representative, I would like to emphasize that the development of the organic sector is a priority for us. And we are doing everything possible on our part so that the world learns more about Ukraine and Ukrainian products. We are delighted with the Ukrainian businesses that is doing work on the economic front. I personally remember at the very beginning of the war how for the first 2 weeks there was complete silence on the part of business, and we as a state structure honestly didn't understand how we could help right now and to solve some problematic issues. At the beginning of the third week, our phones were already ringing, and we worked almost 44 hours a day and continue to do so now, solving different issues and constantly in crisis management. There's all our colleagues from the state bodies, from the businesses, from the associations, etc., etc. And actually, one of the first who came to us with the proposals for new initiatives toward the quality food trade program, actually Natalie, who is now my partner in moderation for the second event. And the organic sector is one of the first for which we had requests and with which we are in constant communication, organized a lot of events. And now I think I'll smoothly move on to the second part of our conference. And actually, I'm also a speaker and I have a presentation. So namely, overview of the organic sector of Ukraine, governmental programs for sustainable business, export figures during the war. I think that the export figures during the war will cover my colleague. But I'll shortly represent you what we've done for this time during the war, which services we are still providing and developing for the organic producers, which events we organized and which events we are organizing now. So just a few seconds to share my screen and to show you a short presentation. Okay, I think it's already on your screen. So let's start. Probably, if you didn't heard, we are the state institution, and this is the best practice, the TPOs that are existing all over the world. So we are the governmental body that existing since 2018 in Ukraine, which is responsible for the development of Ukrainian SMEs and also export promotion activities. We are providing the wide range of services for Ukrainian companies and foreign buyers, like linking Ukrainian businesses with foreign importers, SME support, like consultancy in Ukraine, through the centers in regions, through our main office, the promotion of Ukrainian goods and services abroad, like participation in the international exhibitions, the trade missions, the sourcing service, and the development of Ukrainian business skills and expertise. But I think after the war ends, we'll be actually ready to share our experience with foreign partners. Actually, months ago, me personally and the representative of the office, we were at the conference of the Trade Promotion Europe, so the same organizations in the European Union and other countries. They already asked us to provide some help to understand in crisis management, how to solve some different issues. Even they asking how we are still continue to work in such difficult conditions and providing support to the businesses, how we manage to provide our services to the part in online format, the part in offline format. They're very well known, familiar with the current situation in Ukraine, with the business problematics, because we usually sharing this information with our foreign partners, asking also them for help to provide some recommendations. And actually, I think after the war ends, we'll invite all of them in Kyiv and provide also some courses. So actually, we are leading the Dia.Business export direction with the Ministry of Digital Transformation and with the wide range of services, mainly for the Ukrainian companies. This is a wide range of services. For the foreign buyers, this is also the part of services we are providing, like analytics about Ukraine, because it's really difficult, I think, to find in Google the up-to-date analytics, what is going on in Ukraine. So we're analyzing the Ukrainian market every 2 months. The statistics also available in English, so you can easily check it with all the indicators. We're asking almost 900 CEOs of Ukrainian businesses and also using the information from the open data. So you can easily check this information, and also if you're interested, we could provide it to you directly. So you could be well known what's going in Ukraine, and you could cooperate with us because the business is working, and we see the increasing in the businesses, the good tendencies. So this all continues to work. Also, additional is search for partners in Ukraine. I think this is very important for foreign buyers because when they're looking and they would like to cooperate with Ukrainian companies, it's really difficult to find a reliable supplier. We could help with that. Of course, all our services free of charge. You can just write to us and we'll screen for you the partners. Actually, we have a long list of Ukrainian organic producers with whom you could cooperate right now. We have the catalog of Ukrainian exporters as well, and we have the catalog of organic producers. So the both way you could see the Ukrainian producers, just scan the QR code. You will see the online platform where is located the catalog of Ukrainian producers online. And also, if you didn't find any suitable company for you, you could just fill a short form, send us a request. The deadline, you would like to find some reliable supplier of the goods or the services, and we'll help you with that, with providing the profiles of Ukrainian producers and also the contact details. Furthermore, we have a lot of consultations. It's very extremely important during the war because based on our service, nowadays, more than half of Ukrainian business is looking for export. This is a great solution not to survive, but to keep going, to keep the employees working, to pay salaries, to pay taxes. So this is the normal thing on the economic front. So we're providing a lot of wide range of consultations for the Ukrainian companies. And also, if there are any requests from the foreign companies side, we could also organize the call matchmaking to discuss any problems or problematic issues to help solve those problems. This is actually one of the cases which we had, one of several. Why I'm talking about that? Because this is a reliable retail chain, the Coop Denmark. I think in Europe you are familiar with this chain. So actually, I would like to tell a short story how it began. The buyer from this, I'll start from the right beginning. The Ukrainian ambassador in Denmark tried for a long time to have a contact with this retail chain before the war. Like 3 or 4 times they tried to have a contact, to have a call with some of the top high management representative, but nothing worked. After the war began, the buyer from this retail chain came to the embassy and asked to help find Ukrainian supplier. Because embassy is the first institution you are going to find some reliable supplier. The embassy came to us and also asked for help. The idea from the very beginning was to support Ukrainian products, to have Ukrainian shelf at the few supermarkets, show that Ukrainian companies are working to buy this product and to help not through donations, but by signing the contract. We have provided more than 50 proposals from the Ukrainian companies, so wide range of products, different companies. There was a huge round of negotiations online, and then in Kyiv last year. After that, they chose 5 companies which are already in the shelves of the supermarkets, and the one shelf developed into the selling in multiple stores in Denmark because the buyers, they saw that this is not only the donation and help for the Ukrainian companies, it's also business. And we are talking about that sign the contract with Ukrainian companies, you are still doing business. You have your revenue, you have your money. We are fulfill our obligations. We continue to work. Just don't donate. Sign the contract. This will be the great solution to support Ukraine and Ukrainian companies and Ukrainian people. So this is one of the several cases. Now we are working for additional one. And if you are a buyer who's now at the forum, I'll write my email at the chat. And if you're interested in cooperation with Ukrainian companies, please write to me directly, and we'll help you to find reliable supplier. We also will help to facilitate negotiations for the first steps. So just write me if you're interested. Also, very important thing that Ukraine continue to participate at international exhibitions. The BFA, the biggest organic exhibition in the world. We have organized this year a huge pavilion, the biggest one. It was the anniversary of Ukrainian participation in BFA. It was like almost 200 square meters. I think if you're a BFA, you saw it. And this is extremely important to us to be presented at the international exhibition, because this shows offline that business is working. And also in 2022, in July, we also helped, we are the co-organizers of the Ukrainian Pavilion. And now actually we are in process to organize the pavilion in 2024. So we are doing not only with the organic sector, but the different ones. If you're interested in any additional, also please write me. Education as well, very important thing, but I will go further and show you analytics as well. As I mentioned, we'll send the presentation. You can scan the QR code and see all the necessary information in Ukrainian for Ukrainian participants, in English for the foreign buyers or participants or government representatives. The general information about the organic sector, I will be quite short, because I think my colleague Sergey will have the information in his presentation, but the Ukraine continues to work. And as it was mentioned at the beginning by our Swiss colleague and Taras Vysotsky, the organic sector even developing during the war. So the numbers are telling by themselves. Because in 2022, the organic sector increased in export comparing to 2021 before the war. So I think those numbers are telling a lot to us. Also, the few numbers, we are still, our main partner is Europe, Netherlands, Germany, Austria, Switzerland, Poland. The companies still are the main importers from the European countries in 2022, and also it's very important because the Europe is logistically close to the Ukraine, but also we are working to open new markets like the United States of America or the Middle East, and now we are already in the process of organizing organic Middle East exhibition, actually the Ukrainian Pavilion. Also, that I mentioned about the catalog of producers of organic food products. You can scan the QR code. You'll see the catalog with a lot of Ukrainian producers. Actually, it was up to date just for this conference. And yesterday it uploaded the new version. So you can see the contact details, the up-to-date information about producers that are continue to work, that are continue to export, which have the organic certification confirmed. So those companies are verified by us and our partner Organic Standard. If you have any questions regarding those companies, or you would like to cooperate with some of them, you can also write to us and we'll help. The dashboard that I mentioned about the analytics in English, it's available not only about the Ukrainian economy at all, but also about the organic sector. So you can also scan the QR code and see the information on our expert Gov.ua portal. The information about product groups, dynamics over the time, importing countries, types of transport, etc., etc. So this information is available, and data is provided for the years from the 2021 to the 2023. If you're interested, also you're welcomed. Implemented project, a few words that during the war, we had the first online event, Organic Expo during the war, which was realized the last June. So a year ago, this is the second conference. I think we'll continue, and our next conference will be not organic during the war, but organic, which is developing after the war. Also, there was an online conference, Organic Day in Ukraine, which is very important for us as well, and Organic Export Days, like a short B2B matchmaking event with the Ukrainian companies, Albanian and Serbian companies, which gathered more than 600 participants. And about plans, if you would like to see us abroad at the exhibitions to see the Ukrainian products, you don't have to come to Ukraine, actually. You can also see us at the international exhibitions. And as I mentioned, we are planning the BFR 2024, and we are planning the Organic Middle East. So the second exhibition is our way to the Middle East. This will be the second exhibition, the second time the Ukraine will participate in this exhibition with the National Pavilion. And this is our goal: more Ukrainian products on the shelves in the world market. And we are working on that. This is extremely hard to show that Ukraine is well known only about the corn or any additional raw materials, but we are producing high added value products. And we would like to show, our institution would like to show the world that Ukraine is top not only in raw materials, but in organic sector, in IT sector, in machinery, in food and beverage sector. So this is our main goal for the next, I think, few years, to represent that made in Ukraine. This is such a brand like made in Germany, and represents the quality, the value for the final consumers. Here you can see our contacts. If you're interested, just also scan the QR codes for the Ukrainian participants. This is namely Dia.Business, Dія.Бізнес Trade with Ukraine, but also for the foreign buyers, LinkedIn and Dія.Business Trade with Ukraine. Those websites or web page on LinkedIn are in English, and the information is provided up to date in English. You can see all our activities, all our updates. So I highly recommend you. And if you have any questions, also you can write us to our email. We are answering quite fast in 1-2 days, so you'll not wait for so long. So from my side, that's all. We're talking about my presentation, but my moderation is continuous. And I would like to invite to the floor our next speaker, our partner, colleague, Sergey Golashevsky, the General Manager of Organic Standard Certification Body. Sergey, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Andrei. Good morning, everyone. My part will be about overview of export of organic products from Ukraine, also some recent updates and developments of the export. So let's go. First, we started actually market analysis of export since 2016. Year by year, slowly, we also getting more competence in this, and also with the support of Export Promotion Office of Ukraine. You can see the data. You can see the data in volumes, in tons, and also in value, in thousands of United States dollars. You can see increase right before COVID started, so we have some very good increase. Then, of course, COVID and later the war influence, and we had some stagnation in terms of quantities. And
sorry for the interruption. Yeah, could you please share your presentation for the full screen, because we see like the PowerPoint and the slide, and the left the other slides.
And so only the first slide.
Yeah. Thank you for telling me this, because sometimes it doesn't work. Just a second. Okay. Okay, and now?
Yeah, now it's perfect. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for saying it. Okay, so coming back to the data, yeah. So you can see increase until 2019, and then some stagnation since COVID started and lately the war. You can see data in value. We see increase. If you pay attention to the last year, we have data 22, sorry. It's more or less similar data as for 2021. Andrei already mentioned that we had some quite good increase of export to European Union, to Europe in general. But we had some challenges with export to North America. I will show you in my next slide. So it is how it is now, but we already see some good tendency in 2023. I will also say about it later. Somebody may ask why we have increase in value if we have decrease in volumes. There are main two reasons for that. First reason, in general, increase of share of higher added products, higher added value products in the total export from Ukraine. This is one of the reasons, but even the more important reason was that changing of structure of export and delivery of goods is more now in the price of the product. So it is the main reason for that. General data: Ukraine exported in 2022 to 36 to 36 countries. In general, over the last 5 years, Ukraine exports usually from 30 to 40 countries, so it's more or less sustainable amount of our buying countries. Assortment: we have 67 organic products in assortment last year. In general, we always have like from 60 to 80 in different years over the last 5 years. 225 buyers bought organic products from Ukraine. It is more or less the same data we have every year, up to 230 sometimes, can be a little bit less. Most concentration of buyers we have in Germany, also in Poland and Netherlands. Ukraine exported 95% of its organic products to Europe last year. That's actually understandable and logic. We had some real logistic challenges to export, for instance, to North America. But in general, if you look to the data of previous years, in the previous years we exported to North America, for example. I think it was at least 13% in some years, but up to 24% in some years. For instance, in 2020, it was 24% of product exported to North America. So you can see the influence of the war. This index dropped to 4% only exported to North America, and we understand that some quantities they simply just went to the Europe because of that. We had some little trade with Asia, with Australia also. Usually it's small amounts, small consignments of some ready products, final product, processed product. Okay, and to go to who buys actually organic products from Ukraine in 2022. Of course, it was the Netherlands. Must say the Netherlands always the first place since we started this market analysis in 2016. This country seems to know how to trade Ukrainian organic products, how to buy it, and they always in the top. Then we have Germany, which is very often is it second, third, or first place. As was mentioned before, the biggest amount of buyers companies that buy Ukrainian organic products are in Germany. We have Austria, which, frankly speaking, improving year by year its position. We have Switzerland, which always in the top 5, and Poland, Lithuania. You can see United States only 7th place, but it was always in top 3, usually second after Netherlands. Italy, United Kingdom, Czech Republic. Actually, if to look over the years, this top 10 list of countries is more or less the same. Sometimes it's Romania instead of Czech Republic, or some other neighbor country of Ukraine, which are mostly kind of a trade hub for Ukrainian organic products. What products companies buying from Ukraine. Usually we have a quite similar top three also for the last 5 and more years. It's corn, soybeans, and wheat. Sometimes wheat is on the second place and soybeans on the third, but this top three is usually always like in top three. You can see the data for 2021 before the war and 2022 after war started, and you can see that we have even some increase, for instance, in corn and wheat, and some decrease in soybeans. Then we have products from sunflower. Ukraine is famous for sunflower and organic as well. We have many producers growing sunflower seeds and also processors. And we have oil cake and also seed, but you can see, pay attention to sunflower seed. It was a significant increase of export of sunflower seed. Usually it was a bit restricted in the previous years, but now it's more free market for sunflower seed and company export it. If it look to top 10 in general, again, it's more or less the same top 10 for the last 5 years. So it's kind of sustainability for what Ukraine is usually selling. Sometimes some maybe 1-2 products can come into top 10, but usually we always see the bilberry frozen. Ukraine is famous for its wild collected bilberry. We have barley also. Sometimes barley can go a little bit up and take 4th place, also 5th place. Rape seeds and hard millet. Ukraine is a famous supplier of hard millet to European Union. I think it's the main supplier of hard millet to European Union. And we, by the way, we had some increase last year for hard millet. Ukraine is an organic supplier to European Union. Actually, we were always in top 5 for the last 4 years at least. You can see, or 5 even. Sorry, 5 years. We supply about 200,000 tons yearly. You can see the data below. More or less, it's quite sustainable supplier to the European Union. It's about from 7 to 10% of share Ukraine in all products imported to European Union. And we, of course, important supplier of such products like corn, wheat, soya, sunflower seed, oil cake, hard millet, frozen berries. You've seen this also from the data I provided. It's from the years, it's more or less the same. Top 5 categories that exported to Europe. Again, nothing new. Cereals, oil seed and protein feed, fruits and nuts, oil cakes, plant oil. Unfortunately, share of fruits and nuts a little bit decreased last year, but I think it's a temporary. I hope it will change this year. Okay, then I made a little overview for the top 5 countries because I noticed some questions which were asked by registered participants, and they asked for some particular countries. We go from the Netherlands. Actually, what buy Netherlands from Ukraine? In simple words, they buy everything from Ukraine, all organic products. But of course, they buy quite a lot of commodities, organic commodities. You can see amount of corn. It's a huge amount. Wheat, sunflower cake. They know what to do with it. They know how to distribute it over all Europe. And I will not go one by one, just will mention the most important things. Germany buys also a lot, and I think we see here only top 20, but if we go to the whole assortment, I'm pretty sure that Germany is the first place in terms of wide assortment what they buy from Ukraine, because they also buy processed product, ready product, fully packed in Ukraine. And we have some cases, nice stories, success stories about final products to be supplied to German supermarkets also. So that's why, and I think if to look to the data, not quantity data, but value data, I think the Germany pays more in terms of each kilo of imported product, let's say like this, than all other countries. Austria, a bit, we see it's only 18 products, not more than 20, but still a lot of soybeans, a lot of sunflower oil. I think Austria is leader in terms of importing sunflower oil, and also you see sunflower seeds and some other products. Switzerland is also a very important buyer for Ukraine. Some years ago, I think it's 4 or 5 years ago, Switzerland became as important trading country for Ukrainian organic products. They buy it and they also distribute it among Europe as Netherlands does. And Poland, our neighbor, which became important hub for Ukrainian product, organic product distribution. Some information about the logistic. Maybe you already heard that we had some, because of the war, we have really challenging with logistic. I think it's one of the main challenge for export. And it changed because Ukraine, before the war, Ukraine exported quite a big amount by vessels, sea or river. And you can still see some quite a big amount exported by vessels in 2022. But frankly speaking, it's because of January and February 2022, when sea was still open for Ukrainian organic products. And still there's some not big amount of product Ukraine able to export through the ports on Danube River. Danube River, it's Izmail and Reni, but you can see that anywhere main distribution of Ukrainian organic product went to the railway and especially road vehicle by different cars. You can see the data also comparing 2 years. Before the war and after the war. It's data for Europe, European Union, Switzerland and Norway. Data for United Kingdom is not included here, unfortunately. We don't have access. Traces doesn't have this data. And it was important question last year, will Ukraine be able to supply enough of protein, crops, feed to European Union, because for the last years Ukraine was very important supplier of protein, crops and feed. Despite all the discussions and all the skepticism, Ukraine proved last year that was able and still able to export enough of protein products to European Union, even more. Actually, that it was ready to buy and to consume, because we saw the data for soya. Its export was a little bit decreased, but I'm pretty sure Ukrainian companies had enough soya to export. Just was question of market. Just if any of you will hear again such kind of discussion, just be aware that Ukraine has no issues with this, with supplying protein, organic protein, crops and feed. European Union. Data is saying about it. And I think my last slide, unfortunately, we don't have full data for 2023 this year. I mean, full data taking into account all certification bodies working in Ukraine. We have for the moment available data of organic standard companies that I represent. I think we control about 40% of export quantities, so it can give you an idea what data we talking about. We certify more than 100 exporters of organic products with, as I said, 40% of share of export. And this data shows, you can see like kind of 2 quarters. One is not yet finished because today is 20th of June. We still have like more than about 10 days, but we try to put data in the same condition. So You can see first quarter exported by clients of organic standard for this year and comparing to previous years, and also this not yet finished second quarter. How was it developing? So it gives us an idea how export is developing this year, and what we can see, it's better at least than that was in 2021 and 2022. We are more like in 2020, yeah. So moving to this kind of data, let's hope second half of the year will be also optimistic and good for Ukrainian organic exporters. This part about our famous export catalog of Ukrainian organic exporters, Andrei already presented. I just remind you one more, here's the QR code, you can go. We really put some effort to bring there most of Ukrainian organic exporters. I think it's about maybe 80% of them are there in this catalog, well structured, and also give you an idea, some primary information about companies, and you can just choose whom you want and what you need, and to contact these companies. All contacts are available, and we will try our best to keep it updated every year. And I think it's all from my side. Thank you. And if any questions, I don't know how it will be built, this kind of session, so I'm ready to answer for any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Sergey, very much for the information, for the presented multiple data on organic sector. Usually great data. Thank you very much. I think it's very important for our foreign partners to see how the organic sector is developing right now in those conditions. And actually, I would like to remind that you can still write the questions in the chat. And also, I want to pay your attention that this is the platform for further communication, and you can share the information about your company, you can meet each other, you can share your contact details if you don't like to share them directly to the other participants, and we'll publish it in our chat. And at this stage, I would like to pass the floor for further moderation of the next panel to my colleague, Natalie. Natalie, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Andrew. I also would like to make a short comment on the previous session, which was just took place. And I was very happy to see that despite of the full-scale war, Ukrainian organic business and also state partners really managed, together with their international partners, to be very effective, to be very cooperative, and also to show with these figures very nice joint results. And I would like to invite everyone from international partners and also from Ukrainian exporters to continue your brave cooperation and great job. And I would like, with this kind of welcoming, to invite you to the next session, which is called From Despair to Success. And here you will see the companies of Ukraine which managed and which really show that they are, let's say, the heroes in certain, let's say, term. And their companies will show you a great spirit of Ukrainians and a great potential for cooperation and for further development. So, from despair to success, companies, recovery, and international organic trade during the war. And first of all, I would like to introduce for you Ivan Grichkivsky, who is CEO of Ukrainian Organic Exporter Family Garden. Ivan, the floor is yours, please.
Thank you, Natalia. Can you hear me, everybody?
Yes, we can hear you well.
Good, perfect. Let me just quickly share my screen. I have a very short presentation that I would like to show.
Great.
Okay. Tell me if that works.
We can see, just waiting for the full screen.
Okay, should be full screen now?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay, then I'm probably doing something wrong. Just give me a second.
Great that you prepared presentation, because everybody likes to have some photos and some visualization, some visualization of words.
Yeah, but now I'm struggling to actually make it full screen, but
Yes, here. Click here.
Still not there.
Maybe I can suggest Ivan what to do. You should choose the option not to show the window, but to show full screen when you initially choose to share presentation.
Okay, that sounds good. Let me just try to do that again. Yeah. Share screen.
Share the window, the full window, not just presentation. Yes, it works.
I don't think I have that option here, to be honest. Okay, you know what? I will try to just, let me try that another way. Let me just try to do this. Oh, okay, wait, I know what to do. I think I know what to do now. Give me a second. I haven't done that in a while, so my apologies for. Okay, now it should work probably. That should work now, right?
Yes, great. We can see the full screen.
Now I'm with you now. Good.
The floor is yours.
So thanks Natalia for the introduction. Thank you for the previous speakers about especially for the data, because data is something that I think is of utmost importance for all of us exporters, and it's great to hear that you know, all of us, we're struggling in our own way with the war, with the full-scale invasion, but it's the people of Ukraine that actually bring those goods to the European tables, and it's amazing how everything turns out at the end of the day. So I wanted to start with a little introduction of who we are and what we do. We are a family business that's been around for 6 years now. We grow, pack, and export organic blueberries from Ukraine. We have one of the largest organic blueberry plantations in Europe, which is 155 hectares. We were certified by Organic Standard. We also have Global Gap, GRASP, SMATA, and BRC. So we're one of the companies that is equipped to work with both large international retailers, which we do, as well as retail chains in Europe for the fresh produce. The vast majority of our blueberries, they're exported. We have had experience starting 2019 and 2020 with smaller batches of our goods being exported to United Arab Emirates, to Malaysia. But then we later, with the volumes growing, we switched to predominantly European markets. And the topic of our today's conference is the full-scale war, and what we're doing, how all of us are fighting, and how we experience that. Our company is located in the Kiev region, in the northeast Kiev region, in the Vyshgorod district, and we have witnessed the invasion and the occupation from day one. You can see some pictures over here. Those are taken from our cameras that are facing the entrance of to our farm. And because we're situated right on the road, the Russian forces, when they came in on the February 24th, that huge column that probably everybody saw in the news, the 60 kilometers of military equipment that was on the way to Kiev, it was actually right on the road, which is the entrance to our plantation. So those are the bottom picture is something that I show to everybody. That is actually it says the entrance to Family Garden on your right, and that's how February 24th and 25th started for us. We have been occupied as a business from February 24th until April 2nd, when we were liberated when the whole region was liberated by the armed forces of Ukraine, and the Russians were forced out of the region, and we began our reconstruction in 2022 right away, only 2 days after. As you can see, these are the pictures taken by me on April 4th when we came back to the farm. You can see that we have destroyed equipment. The bridge connecting the two districts and the river. We're situated on a river. was completely destroyed. It is disassembled now, and they're building a new bridge there. So it's super fast, super efficient, and the reconstruction efforts by the Ukrainian government, they're just tremendous, and it's just amazing. But this is essentially what the Russians have left us with. This is April 2022, and the blueberry season is about to begin in June, and we have literally zero vehicles, because we had 13, 11 of them were destroyed and disassembled by Russians. One is in Chechnya still, because we can track it with GPS. So it was looted by the Chechens when they were occupying the farm. And we had only one partly working tractor to begin the season. The most important thing, though, is that the plants were not affected. Probably the Russians had no idea what that was, because they were right there, and 155 hectares of them, but the plants were not affected in any way. And this is something that I think helped us to survive as a business, because the blueberries, the plants themselves, they take quite some time to grow. Usually it's 5 to 6 years to fully mature. And it's a lot of effort, a lot of investments, and a lot of infrastructure effort as well to make that happen. So if something were to happen to the plants, then probably we would be in a much worse position than we are right now. One more thing is that about 2 or 3 weeks before the full scale invasion by the Russians, we have signed a contract to purchase new equipment for our company, namely the sorting and packing and top sealing line, to be able to supply to European retail chains. Because I love the presentation of Andriy Litvin about the Coop Denmark. And the story is that we started working with Coop Denmark a year before the negotiations with Coop Denmark, a year before the full-scale invasion. And we were supposed to start season 2022 with our first shipments of organic, fresh blueberries to the retail chains owned by Coop Denmark and supplied by Coop Denmark and the Nordics, namely the Coop Denmark and also SOC in Finland and Coop in Norway. So we needed the equipment to make all of that happen, to make it work. And we signed a contract to purchase that in beginning of February 2022. And the equipment was delivered to us in June 2022. So less than 2 months after we have been liberated, the region has been liberated, we have received all of our equipment, and we were able to start working with the retailers. We had over 500 tons of blueberries picked last year. We forecast to have around 750 tons this year and up to 1,000 tons next year, because our plantation is still in the phase of maturity. And as you can see some pictures here, that's the result of our last year's work. The bottom left one is actually for Coop in Denmark. There's one at the top with our own branding that was sold in Finland, and we were one of the very few, if not the only, suppliers of fresh organic packed blueberries to the European market at the moment. Our main markets remain the Nordics. Also, the Netherlands is a very important importer. I was listening to Sergei's presentation and looking at the data, and I could see the Germany and the Netherlands figures. I'm pretty confident that those are our figures by our company, and it was really great to see that we contribute not only that we as a company we contribute to the national export statistics in a certain category. So that I really love that. You could see the results that you achieve. It actually works. We are. In 2022, we had some plans to expand before the war. We also wanted to invest into other types of fresh organic berries. We do have the customers for that. The retailers that we're working with in Germany and in the Nordics, they're very interested in additional products. And I think that because of the war, those plans have been delayed, but they're not forgotten. So hopefully next year we will be able to do that, and we will have a bigger range of fresh organic berries that we would be able to offer to our European clients. I think that's more or less what I wanted to share with you today. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. There's my email at the bottom, and you can also use the Q&A here at in Zoom. Thank you, Natalia. Thank you, Sergey, Andrei, for inviting me. And I hope that our story, despite that we have suffered from the occupation, tremendously serves as an inspiration that there's nothing for the Ukrainian companies that we cannot do. And I'm pretty sure that, what Andrei told me, what Andrei told at the beginning of this event is that the Ukrainian exporters and Ukrainian producers, we work so much harder. And that is our competitive advantage. It truly feels like there is nothing impossible for the Ukrainian companies at the moment. And I think that this is the place to be in terms of international business. And I think that our products will pave the way to a new class of products on the European market. So thank you, everybody. And feel free to reach out with any questions.
Thank you, Ivan. Your story really confirms from despair to success. And I would like also to underline that Ukrainian organic exporters are great crisis managers. And in cooperation with their international partners, we really could help Ukraine to survive, to recovery, and also develop organic sector in Ukraine. Thank you, Ivan. And now thank you. And I would like now to invite for his speech Andrew Shklar. And he is a co-founder and a commercial director of Ukrainian Organic Exporter branch from Zhytomyr region of Ukraine. Andrew, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you, Natalia. Do you hear me well?
Yes, we can hear you well.
Great, perfect. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, colleagues, friends. It's good to see so many familiar and old friends here on this conference. It's really a pleasure speaking here and speaking after Ivan, after his inspiring story, and I think this is the great example of the Ukrainian business resilience and how we tackle. And I think that the title of the section is not actually from despair to success. I can say that Ukrainian companies feel very different emotions, but not despair. So I think this is something which we try to not to focus on, and that's true that all these things, they are simply making us more stubborn, more focused, and more struggling. So if I may, I will briefly tell about ourselves and about our experience in developing the organic export. We are the family company as well. We were founded in 2018, and we are focused on the production of the organic natural snacks in the free from niche. So we do not use any additives, sugar, etc. So this is the natural healthy niche of snacks. Our production facilities are based in Zhytomyr region. We were much more lucky comparing to Ivan's story. Tanks were about 50 kilometers from our facilities, the closest. But of course, we survived pretty heavy bombing at the beginning of the war, of the full-scale invasion. And of course, it was because of the largest brigade location in Zhytomyr, and because of the airport and military infrastructure is situated in our region. And of course, it was very difficult to let's say to keep operational stability in the first weeks of the full-scale invasion. So during 2 weeks, of course, we have sent people to families to the Western Ukraine, etc. But already in mid-March, we managed to recover at some scale the production and recovered our fulfillment of our obligations to our partners in retail and of our suppliers. It is very important. It was very helpful at the first months of the war that we got the great support of our partners, the good understanding of our partners. So there was the definite feeling that we are in the same boat, and it was really felt. It was really great, and moreover, it was felt greatly on the in the aspect of the international support. We were also like members of the support from Organic Initiative. We were greatly supported by the import promotion desk of Germany with invitations to participate in BioFach and keep going with our export-oriented marketing and communicating activities. So it was really great, because like those small and big things, they made us more and more confident that we are still on the moving in the right direction, and we are on the correct path. Maybe I can share like a few takeaways which we had during this period, but just will briefly tell you about the timeline of how we became exporters. We started preparation to the export activities of organic line of products in 2020, so pretty long time ago, which started like with the good and long talks with Sergei Galashevsky, was discussing how ready the market is, like what is the opportunities of the product, and all other types of the technical nuances about the organic certification and specifics of work with the suppliers of organic raw materials, because we are the pure producers, we are heavily dependent on that. And already in 2022, just like in January, 1 month before the invasion, we got the organic certification, and our facility was reconstructed during the COVID time, which wasn't also very easy, like financially, because you do not have like the good distribution opportunities while the traveling is limited. But at the beginning of war, like we came up like fully technically ready, like to export, to produce, and to fit the requirements of importers. That was the big thing, because like 1 month later, and maybe I would not be speaking here, at least like this year. So the point is that coming up, like switching from the preparation phase to actual like exporting, like demands particular very detailed preparation and restructuring of your communication and of your supply chains in terms of the ingredients and in terms of the raw materials you use for your production, for your packaging, etc. So this is different demands, and this is a different story. But I'm glad that finally we managed like to came up to particular export activity, and this year we have already made the number of the like batches. The majority of our production capacities were utilized in the direction of the Germany contract, which was done under the private label of our German partner, and it also like brings the opportunity that this cooperation would be like long term, and we are now negotiating the new season contract. And to wrap up, I maybe can share like my internal takeaways out of this experience, which I can maybe summarize like in 3 points, which might be helpful for other Ukrainian exporters or other Ukrainian companies getting ready to export to Europe, to export to other countries. First of all, like don't try to sound like over optimistic. Like be transparent and be clear of risks with your partners. So we have much more complicated situation in Ukraine than in any other country of the continent so far, and like be transparent, like telling the truth, which risk you see for your facility, which risks you see for your business, which are the like risk factors your partner should be aware, because from some particular point when you sign the contract, your problems become the problems of your partner, and vice versa. So don't be shy like to speak about problems like you're having in the country, etc. This was the point, and when we were signing the contract, electric power stations were heavily bombed by Russians. Like, as the processing company, we are heavily dependent on the electricity, so we cannot produce without electricity. It was the risk we clearly stated, we clearly discussed with the German partner, and it was the point where, like, we clearly stated that if there is no electricity, we simply cannot do it. It's not under our control fully. But the second point is try not to come with problems solely, but try to come with the set of solutions. So we had the plan B, plan C, plan D, what we do in case the Zhytomyr region electric transformation center is like bombed. So what we do, like, we had the generation capacities. It can be installed so fast, it can be connected so fast, it will increase our cost of production by X. So this is the things you need to speak loudly with your partners, and your partners should be clear and should understand that you are not over optimistic. You clearly understand the situation, and you clearly have the plan what to do in case the worst case becomes the real life. And the last but not the least thing is simple thing, but very often we forget about this. It is called communication. Simply communicate, make the group in WhatsApp, drop a line every few days or whatever after the bad news are coming on TV or whatever, after the next bombing or some other blockade of borders, etc. Show that you keep the control, show that you are doing, share whom you speak, share which opinions are. Simply let your partner feel that he's or she is involved and they are aware of what is going on. The worst thing, in the current situation of the anxiety and unpredictability, is the silence and is the absence of information. So, please communicate. Your partner should become your best chat friend, and give a call a couple of days. Share the problems. If something is going not according to plan, better to tell about this at the beginning. It will be much more appreciated if you keep the silence about the problem and then you break the deadline, or then you break the contract conditions and you do not have time for the common maneuver or for the common coordination. So this is probably the pretty simple, pretty logical things, but I think we might underestimate it, and I sincerely wish that there are more and more Ukrainian exporters in the statistics, which will be growing in volumes, which will be growing in the cost of in the value of the Ukrainian export to Europe and to other countries of the world. Thank you, colleagues. I am also open to any questions and would be glad to share our experience. Thanks a lot again for invitation.
Thank you very much for presenting your company and also your suggestions. And I like very much your solution-oriented approach and your transparency, which is very important for a long-term partnership, what is always mentioned at different events, at different levels. It's really great that you use it by yourself, and also you suggest it to your colleagues from organic sector of Ukraine. Thank you so much. And now I would like to invite next our great speaker, so Yuri Mikhailuk. So he is a commercial director of the group of companies Dedens Agro, Ritter Bioagro, and Kunivske. Yuri, the floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you very much for introduction. My name is Yuri, as Natalia said. I would like shortly introduce our companies, Dedens Agro, Ritter Bioagro, and Kunivske. We are located in Rivne region in the western part of Ukraine. Our group has been engaged in organic crop production since 2013. Production started with 2,000 hectares. Now we have already 6,000 of these plots. The main crops grown by our companies are soybeans, corn, wheat, and oats. Company's export accounts for 90% of our turnover. The main market is the European Union, mainly it's Germany. And as previous speakers told, and as it turned out, The year 2022 showed that the previous difficulties were not as critical as they seemed. In February, unfortunately, the Russian Federation attacked Ukraine and began destroying infrastructure. And they destroyed agricultural infrastructure as well. Unfortunately, many organic companies have completely stopped their work or suffered from the invasion of the aggressor country. Since we are located in the western part of Ukraine, fortunately for our companies, we were not destroyed or damaged. But in terms of finances, of course, it created a big problem for us. I think not only for us, but for many companies. And back in February, we had about 30% of unshipped products in our warehouses. In March, it was still not clear how to transport the remains and how to fulfill the contracts, and almost our main transport is are trucks, and transport companies were mostly completely stopped their work because they did not know the system of crossing for the drivers, because it was restricted to pass the border for men, period. But at the same time, the sowing campaign began, and seed spare parts for machinery and especially fuel became a sacred material, which significantly slowed down and sometimes even stopped field works. Around April, the state began to implement a regulatory policy for the shipment of products residues and the completion of sowing campaign, which helped us and other companies to pass a very difficult period and made it possible to continue work. As of now, despite the fact that some neighboring countries, members of the European Union, are closing their markets and making it difficult for Ukrainian organic products to enter the European Union, the situation is stable. Of course, as far as it can be during the war, and it is more or less positive. The previous year showed that if there is no shortage of materials for production and the demand for organic products is present, it is already a positive trend. In addition, I would like to note that from the very beginning of the war, during the whole difficult period, Organic Standard Specialists supported their operators, simplifying working conditions in export as much as possible, and they still help us. Thank you very much. I'm finished. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Yuri. I also
If you have questions, please ask.
Thank you so much for your presentation, and I also would like to underline what you were saying regarding supporting organic export from Ukraine. As we know that EU Commission also supported so much Ukraine for helping to continue export from Ukraine and also to simplify that export, what was very important for Ukrainian organic exporters. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. Especially in documents, in requests, the information. We were always informed about changes, and Organic Standard Specialists contacted foreign partners and made everything to make work for agricultural companies maximum easy.
Thank you so much for your presentation. And now, because of the time limits, I would like again to ask my colleague for co-moderation, Andrew, to continue the next session. And I would like to thank to our Ukrainian organic exporters for their nice speeches and for all ideas which they shared with our participants.
Thank you, Natalie, and also thanks for our speakers from the previous panel. It was really impressive to see how the Ukrainian companies continues their work despite any situation. And I would like to underline the words of Andriy, who mentioned that the name of the panel is not correct because it's not from Desper. We have a lot of tasks to do every day, a lot of problems, a lot of issues to solve, but for sure it's not a despair. War, it's about, of course, struggling, deaths, but also about opportunities, which we're highly using nowadays because there are a lot of different projects, a lot of new markets. The world is more familiar with Ukrainian products, with Ukrainian producers, and this is definitely the opportunity. This is definitely the niche we are trying to use. And actually, our next panel and next discussion will be about opportunities which our foreign partners are providing to Ukrainian producers, Ukrainian companies, which help during the war to not survive but develop. And I would like to pass the floor to one of our partners, which are working together with for the last 3 years, if I'm correct. Toralf Richter, Senior Advisor of the QFTP and the D4D Research Institute of Organic Agriculture. Toralf, please, the floor is yours. Tell us about the projects, about the initiatives which are provided by your project during the war, about your impressions even of working with Ukrainian companies during the war with the state bodies. So it's highly interested, I think, for both Ukrainian producers and also foreign buyers.
Yes, good morning also from my side. Very warm welcome here, and thank you for the invitation to have me here. So I will give today a little overview about what we with the Swiss projects, Quality Food Trade Program and Organic Trade for Development, OT4D, made in the last year of the war. But before I will start with this, I want to share with you 3 messages which seems to be important to share with you. The first message is I'm really proud of you all. So me and also colleagues or friends, which I've been speaking about the current situation in Ukraine. So we never were expecting that projects like this OT4D or the QFTP program could be successful continue. So everyone here in Western Europe thinks, how can these people really continue to work as usual? Huh? How does it function? So this was really quite impressive to see how you did it in the last year and how to continue in this moment. So this war even, I think, even lets the organic sector gain strength and also strengthen the international relationship to your partner. So congratulations. So really made a great job in this very difficult and challenging period. The second message is related to the organic market in Western Europe. So we have seen in the last year that something changed a little bit due to inflation and due to reduced purchase power in Western Europe consumers buy less organic and rather cheaper organic products. So especially this second point, this cheaper organic products, you look for cheaper alternatives when buying organic products. This could be an issue also in the future when it comes to price negotiation with importers. And the third message is that also on the consumer side, something is changing. So we observe that the consumption of meat is decreasing slowly but steadily. And instead of meat consumption, more plant-based diets getting important. So therefore also the organic sector in Ukraine should reorientate to produce more organic crops or more components for food instead only for the feed market in Europe. Well, so coming to our 2 programs, which have been supported by SECO. So, here the question was, so how could we continue as a project, as a program to support the sector representatives in Ukraine? So, a lot of people ask in Western Europe, so how can we support the sector and what can we do? And how can we convey our willingness to continue to buy from products? So can you help us a little bit to provide us information and to match us with the people from the organic sector in Ukraine to really give our contributions to keep them alive? And therefore, so we decided on the one side to have some information based on our feeble channels. So we made a podcast with Ukrainian exporters and also with my colleague Tobias Eisenring. We made a podcast to show people about the current situation. So this was quite close after the beginning of the war. But it was nevertheless, it was a situation to making hope. So it's nothing lost. So we really try to support the actors, and it is possible that they will somehow continue. But it will also depend on your side as an importer to support these producers by your buying activities. So this resonance of this activities was quite high. So we had a lot of journalists, media, which were contacting us, and in the consequence, and more and more articles in different magazines from different international medias have been published. Then Ukrainian partners also represented the organic sector also in the period of war on international events. So we were really thankful that it was possible that people could travel, could move. So here, for instance, at the European Organic Congress of IFOM EU, but also at the Biofach. So we could always place Ukraine as an important topic in all these events. And it was also important that we try to continue to do our matchmaking activities as we did it before. Also, when it was not possible, for instance, to organize a buyer mission, but nevertheless, we try to link up exporters with importers by organizing online trade events, but also by let the exporters be able to physically participate on the Biofach in summer 2022 and also in the spring 2023. So, and finally, we only could facilitate a little bit the process, but at the end it were the exporters on the one side and the importers on the other side who made it possible that this organic trade was continuing and even more successful as we saw it in the year before. So we also had in the frame of the OT4D program the possibility to financially support in the frame of a public-private partnership an organization in the Rivne region. And here we see our program manager from SECO side, Silvan Hungerbühler. He was doing his own field mission to this region. And I think he also received this positive feedback from the people there that it's really highly welcome any kind of support, because also in this region, then such investments give a positive signal that we really look forward to the future and not just doing troubleshooting. Then also in the frame of the program, there were initiated a few campaigns to support organic producers. These campaigns have been communicated and also channelized by organic initiatives, this multi-stakeholder organic platform in Ukraine. And we are also very proud that single farmers could get some little grants here to continue with the production or with the certification. Then saw the organic domestic market is really under heavy disturbance in this moment. Nevertheless, we also tried to support the domestic producers here in Lviv on a trade fair. And we also in this moment try to link exporters from Ukraine with processed products to supermarket shelves in German-speaking countries. So here we also really try that the processors find a way to financially survive this difficult period. Let me finish with a short outlook. So these both programs, they will continue to support the organic sector and the stakeholders to bring or to maintain the organic sector in the agriculture as this important role as it has today. So we try to bring Ukrainian organic products to European supermarket shelves, as I said before. So here we are in the discussion with different retailers to see what is possible, what kind of products possible. But we feel that the opportunity window is quite open in this moment to start such an activity. Then we continue to provide direct and indirect support to different value chain actors, contributing to the further legal framework improvement and the implementation of the Ukrainian organic legislation, and also the adaptation of the Ukrainian legislation to the EU organic regulation, and of course also to facilitate the policy dialogue. Yeah, with these words, I would like to thank you very much for your always great partnership, great cooperation. So we're really proud to work with you with on a level service provider, but also with exporters where we are in contact. So it's always a pleasure to be with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Taras. Actually, we are also very pleased and happy to have you as a partner, who is constantly helping Ukrainian producers and state bodies. It's very important, the constant help, as Taras mentioned at the beginning, because we are working for the last 3 years, as I mentioned also before, and you're very flexible, and this is very important nowadays, actually, because everything changes dramatically. And if a few years ago there was a strategic plan for like 3 years, now everything changes every week. And this is very important that you, as a partner, you hear all the demands from the Ukrainian business, the Ukrainian government. So thank you for that help. And I think we'll have a short Q&A session probably at the end of the discussions. Now I would like to pass the floor to the Clement Grab, the head of program Swiss Import Promotion Program SIPA Switzerland. Also, the one short question that I wanted to ask Silvan about the impression of visiting Ukraine, because actually we met in Kiev also months ago, and it's very interesting to hear what is your impression about Ukraine during such a period.
Yes, Andrei. Well, thank you for inviting me. Happy to see you again. I still have very good memories from my recent visit in Ukraine, Kyiv in mid-May. You mentioned it. Well, to me, to say it very straightforward, I arrived on a Sunday afternoon, previously to the week that we met. First of all, I was seduced by the beauty of the city. I arrived by bus, so I took my time. Since I've been sitting quite some time on that bus, I thought it was good to walk a bit. So I strolled through the neighborhoods towards my hotel. It was about a 30-minute walk, 45-minute walk. And really what I saw was just amazing. I told myself I just have to get back to the hotel, quickly drop my luggage, and then go out and discover. So that was really my first impression. I admit I was a bit baffled by it because I did not know at all what to expect. So that's what I saw. Then the second thing that I was very impressed with is also the I guess what you call the resilience of the people. I had a very, very, very busy schedule that I have to thank Silvan from SECO, who has this introductory remark. Also, Victor Shushkevich from the embassy. They really filled my 3 days full with meetings, among others meeting you, but also meeting other programs, also meeting other potential DSO partners. And one night was a busy night because there was some air alarms. What impressed me really was the next morning. I got out of the hotel at 7:30 to find a good coffee somewhere. First of all, I found an excellent coffee. And the second, everyone was out, dressed, going about their business, going to school, going to work. going to their offices, I was really impressed by this, to be able to see this. For me, it was a very valuable experience, because for us, of course, as a program, it's important to know the context that we work in. So that's maybe a bit lengthy, but straightforward, the impression that I had when I came to Kyiv. Now, maybe I say a couple of words on the program, just briefly, if that's okay. I also prepared a slide deck. I will try to make it short. So SIPO is a Swiss import promotion program. We have been around for many decades. We are owned, so to say, by SECO, so by the Swiss Economic Directory. We are a global program. That means that we are currently operating in 11 countries, 4 in the Balkans, 3 in Africa, 2 in South America, and 2 in Asia. We are working in 6 sectors: efficiency, the natural ingredients, processed foods, sustainable tourism, technical wood and value-added textiles. And the particularity of the program is that we work directly with BSOs. So we do not work in the current approach with companies, with exporting companies. That's what other Swiss finance programs and also other European countries do. We work directly with BSO partners, and we do what we call capacity development, meaning we support BSOs in developing services for their export-ready companies to help them access or bridge the last mile to European and Swiss export markets. We help them to strengthen their institutions, to have the strategies, to have a structure that allows them to continuously deliver high-quality services. Also, digitalization is one topic, or sustainability, organic is another topic that we try to get them provided with the right skill sets. And thirdly, we try to help them to develop their own ecosystem, export promotion ecosystem network, in order to really tap in the potential of the country of Ukraine, in that case itself. So why am I invited? Why was I visiting Kyiv? SECO decided to entrust us with opening a 12th country for the next 2 and then the following 4 years. So the current plan is that we will open our offices in Kyiv as soon as possible. I'll just show you one particularity of the program is that we only work with local teams. So in all the countries that we have 2 to 3 people locally working then with the BSOs. That's one of the particularities. Currently, we're in the process of recruiting the local country representative in order to be operational as quickly as possible. There's some administrative chores and tasks still to be solved, but we are in the process of that. And then we're very much looking forward to joining the group of Swiss finance programs that are operating in Ukraine. I will leave these out. Maybe one last remark to conclude. We are also part of what we call the Trade-Related Instruments Connect network, in short, TRIC. So the idea of TRIC is to coordinate and exchange on the level of other European import promotion programs. You can see some of the names that are certainly familiar to you. My colleague Teresa from IPD will just take over after me. So the objective of this TRIC network is to coordinate on a strategic level so that we know who is planning and doing what, focusing on what, working with whom in a particular country, in the sector, in order then to make sure that we don't duplicate efforts, but to be complementary. And that's the same thing also with BSOs, capacity development. For us, the charm of the sustainability, the value of the approaches, we try to create strong local institutions. We don't try to subsidize them or to substitute them, but we really try to strengthen them in a way that when the programs comes to an end, that there is an ecosystem that is self-sufficient with strong local export promotion service providers that can help an exporting industry in the particular sector, for example, natural ingredients, processed food, or technical wood. That's what we plan in Ukraine, to be ready to do the job themselves in a high quality that satisfies and helps their exporting numbers. That's very briefly CEPO and what we have planned.
Thank you very much, Clement. I think this is great to show to everyone that not only the projects which we are working previously are still continue their work in Ukraine, but that even new projects are coming and even opening their offices. And probably maybe you can have short notice and tell us about about your plans in organic sector, what you're planning to do if you do have those plans.
Yes, with pleasure, Andrei. Of course, you mentioned the two important words. On one hand, we are the new arrival, the additional arrival. I must also say it's a coming back for CEPO to Ukraine. Until 2017, we were present in Ukraine in different sectors. Then for some reasons, we decided in the new country portfolio to not include Ukraine. Now we're back. Now we're very happy also to be back. So the specific plan in organic is to be frank with you, we will be working very closely with other Swiss programs. Toral just explained the two large ones, OFTP and OT4D. That's going to be a very important partner for us, as well as identifying the best synergies with the European TRIC network partners. And then for us, what will be very important, there we already had some very good inputs and insight from you, is we need in our approach, as I said, we work with BSOs, or some people call BMOs, business membership organizations, business support organizations. So a key task after having recruited the local team will be to identify the right partners. And we really need to identify those export promotion agencies, sector organization, topic organizations that will then work with us on the capacity development topics that we develop together. We do not, normally the approach is we identify the right partners, then we devise a strategy together, how we can help and support those partners to build those services and capacities they need, to best help the organic export industry in Ukraine to be successful, to continue to be successful in European markets. So the CEPO plan, but it's a plan that we will develop with our future BSO partners in Ukraine.
Thank you for your response. From our side, I can assure you that we'll be very glad to be the part of this ecosystem and provide any assistance, help from our side, and working with the Ukrainian stakeholders as well, with associations, with different NGOs which are working in organic sector and not only in organic sector. So very thank you for your speech and for the short information. I think if there will be some additional questions, our participants are able to write them in the chat directly. And also, I would like to pass the floor to our next speaker, IPD. Also, it was mentioned a few times during our conference, our partner also for a few years. So please, I'll pass the floor to Teresa Hottenhofer, external IPD consultant, Import Promotion Desk, Germany. Teresa, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Andrei. It's a great pleasure being here and meeting all of you. I'm trying to coordinate in parallel the sharing of my screen. Wait, let me just switch. I think now you should see the right one. Thank you so much. Thanks, and it's really a pleasure being here with all of you and together in this group. And I can just underline what Toral said. It's a pleasure working also with you and the companies that we have been working so far with, and the organizations as EEPO It's incredible what happened and how you continued working in this very resilient way. And we are happy to be there to support you in it, and together with all the other programs there and that have already been explained now, it's great to be a complementing part here. Just for the ones that don't know IPD, so IPD is a governmental organization. We are active or started our activities in 2018. Here you see one of our very early pictures when we started visiting different companies in the context of fresh fruits and vegetables. So here's my colleague Torsten. He's working with the fresh fruits and vegetable companies. That's the guy in the middle with the sunglasses. He could not join today, but he's here and thinking about all of you and sending his regards. And in the context of natural ingredients, so that's everything that comes from a plant has been processed at least on a primary stage and goes into food, cosmetics, and the health industry. That would be me working there in the country. And our objective is to connect the companies that are ready for export with the European importers. So we are not acting as an agent or anything like that. We are there to facilitate the contact and support in the background. As Clément said, we are on very complementing partners in this context. SIPO, for example, is working, or not for example, but is working on the BSO level, and we are on the level of the companies on this very last mile to make business happen. And our main asset for both sides is that we are visiting the companies really on site. We see what they do and how they do it, and then can talk also and confirm to the importers. We've seen it. The company really works like that. And also on the other hand, give the credits to the importers and tell them, you see, we have good experience in last years, etc., etc. So that's what we actually do. Now with this new situation, our ministry funding the IPD program made funds available right away to create what we call, at least internally, Ukraine Special Program. It got this new name because we were able thus to soften our criteria. That means, as we cannot travel and visit the companies right now, we can also work with Ukrainian companies in the fresh fruits and natural ingredient sector without meeting them. So we substituted with virtual meetings, with sharing more information on, like, with pictures, etc., but also exchanging with our local partners who know the companies, who can give us more insights. Additionally, the special program enables us as IPD to also work more individually with the companies. As we've just seen it with Family Garden and Brancho, the circumstances are very, very different depending on the location and what has happened within the last 1.5 years almost. So we can really look into the best solution for each and every one, which is very, very crucial, I think, so that we can really help them in the different stages. So from getting more readiness, being more on the consulting side and what is still needed to be ready, but also then to really do this connection to the European importers. What was been very successfully done also in cooperation with the EEPO and all the other Ukrainian country pavilions at trade fairs, at BioFach, we just saw some pictures, but also Food Logistica and Food Attraction. I think Family Garden was there with the IPD, then Brancho was with us at BioFach. We also had companies at the Food and Health Ingredients, as well as the CIAL. And we will also continue this. Next trade fair coming up is Anuga in Cologne, Germany. So this will just continue, and whatever we can do in supporting the companies from Ukraine to increase the numbers that Sergei just presented some minutes ago, we are there to support in any context. Because it has always been, and it's more than ever, really the objective of the IPD and all our partners to link the European importers, the Ukrainian exporters with the European importers, but also, of course, all other importers that want to buy and are open to buy from Ukraine. And we've seen the main part here is raising awareness. So we had long talks and also sharing a lot of information within our network on different levels, and letting all the people know that the Ukrainian companies are working, that export is still possible. It might take a bit longer, but everything else works at present as it used to be, and people are ready despite the things they're facing now these days in daily work life. I also want to thank in this context Sergei Galashevsky and his whole team, and especially also Ludmila Pivniuk is our local consultant, and they helped us in staying also in close contact with all the IPD companies. And also we had the chance through them to connect to new ones and could also add to the IPD company list some new companies that we could take in and connect to during the events that I just mentioned. So we are working, have been working, and are still working to create the best value out for the Ukrainian companies in this very challenging situation. And we are always open also now to get to know new ones and supporting further. So if you are now here and you are ready to export or want some more information, please feel free to reach out to us, and we are always open to exchange on all the different levels. And I'm very much looking forward to meeting some of you very soon again in person, also virtually, and to continue working together in the context of Ukraine. And here you also find some of our contact details, and please stay safe. And wishing you all the best. And thanks again, Andrew, for the invitation and for giving us this chance to show what IPD is doing. Thank you.
Thank you, Teresa. Actually, thank you for your support and the practical tools you're providing to the Ukrainian businesses. I heard a lot of positive comments from the Ukrainian companies that actually this brings great results in increasing export. So those practical tools, like representing at BioFach or Anuga, the best instruments to the Ukrainian companies nowadays to show they're still existing and not only existing. And actually being in the field, like your first photo in Ukraine, also very important for the Ukrainian producers that the foreign programs, support projects, understand the problems, the issues the Ukrainian companies are dealing with nowadays, and the problems that were before. So this is highly important for us and Ukrainian businesses. Thank you. And now I would like to invite our next speaker, Vitaly Bigdai, SME Development Director, Western Youth Enterprise Fund, United States. Actually, this project was the launching pad of our institution. So with their help, the Entrepreneurship and Export Promotion Office, previous name Export Promotion Office, was founded, gain new practices, best practices of the world TPOs with the great experts. And that is why we are here today. Actually, this success of our existence and development as an institution, as a trade promotion office, also thanks for this organization. Vitaly, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So much. Oh, it's a great honor and pleasure to join this distinguished panel. I have honor to represent the Western Youth Enterprise Fund. And in my brief presentation, I don't have slides, so I'll be my presentation will be shorter than brief. So in my presentation, I want to talk about our objectives, what we are working on, our approach, and the opportunities that we hope will be available very soon to Ukrainian business support organizations and companies. So First of all, we are based in Ukraine. I mean, some members of our team still abroad, but we have presence in Ukraine. I'm personally based in Kyiv. We believe that. So first, quick snapshot about the fund. So the Western NIS Enterprise Fund is a regional fund. It's a pioneer in Ukraine and Moldova with 29 years of successful experience in investing in small and medium-sized enterprises. Western NIS Enterprise Fund was funded by the US government via the USAID through its direct investment program and in sponsoring the launch of Horizon Capital in 2006. Western NIS Enterprise Fund has invested $188 million in 136 companies, employing over 26,000 people, and unlocked over $2 billion of total capital for Ukraine and Moldova. And in 2015, Western NIS Enterprise Fund launched a $35 million legacy program focused on export promotion, local economic development, impact investing, and economic leadership. Investment reflows provide additional capital to fund investments and the legacy program, thus furthering its resources. The fund supports innovative and high-impact programs aiming to support Ukraine and Moldova during this critical period. Our understanding is that the unprecedented foreign challenges of wartime make it imperative for Ukraine and Moldova to significantly increase resilience of their private sectors, create and sustain private sector jobs, continue to modernize and grow their economies, and pursue their European path. To do so, they must focus on enhancing the growth, job creation potential, and competitiveness of small, medium-sized enterprises. Ukrainian and Moldovan SMEs in particular need to increase their awareness of modern technologies, principles of management and corporate governance, marketing and sales strategies. They must also continue to develop their export capacity and acquire the know-how and assistance that is required to compete and win in the international markets that are now open to them, the EU and around the world. So to help companies address those challenges, the fund is ready to provide grants funding to Ukrainian business support organizations. And we hope that such funding will help to achieve several objectives. First and foremost, create, sustain Ukrainian private sector jobs by developing, increasing, or recovering SME activity in measurable, sustainable way. Also increase SME business confidence. Also support expansion and growth of existing SMEs and creation of new enterprises. Increase competitiveness of SMEs. And also ensure active operation of businesses that are located in deoccupied territories or were forced to relocate to western regions of Ukraine due to the threat of hostilities. The grant guidelines are being prepared currently. They have not been yet published online, but we hope this will be done fairly soon. And we'll be happy to consider applications from qualified business support organizations, associations, even academic institutions. Meanwhile, we are in close contact with our colleagues from the Entrepreneurship and Export Promotion Program, as well as long-term partners for the trade program. That's this funded. We have already identified a few specific projects where we are working together. First, we plan to take part in organizing Ukraine participation at EEPO in 2024, and also to support Ukraine presence at natural and organic trade show in the United Arab Emirates. We are also working with quality food trade program on supporting Ukrainian cheese producers, in particular, enable Ukraine to participate in the World Cheese Award program this year in October. So this is probably the key ideas I wanted to share. Again, I hope this day's conversation informs participants about opportunities, but also helps to establish better understanding between how various organizations working in this field, and also thus help better zonal coordination and partnerships between our organizations. I thank you so much for your attention, and maybe we can make this conversation a bit more interactive and discuss, share our opinions on this.
Thank you, Charlie.
Over to you, Andrei. Thank you.
Thank you. Actually, it was really interesting, and the main idea of those presentations of the projects was to represent that international projects are working in Ukraine despite any risks, and for Ukrainian companies that there are several opportunities how to get any help in different case and tools, like the grants which Vitaly announced. So with the national pavilions also, because I announced it previously in my presentations, and I highly recommend you to see the information, to look through the information on the Western East Fund website, for example, or on our social medias, because we'll announce the Biopack and the Bioorganic, Middle East and Natural very soon. And it will be the deadline for the registration to participate in those events. So highly recommend you to look through the news. So, and now actually we're a little bit out of time, or mainly ideally in our program, we have another panel, the last panel, but not the least, with the foreign buyers visa are also strictly limited in time, because we are all at the business trips, have a lot of work to do. So it was really difficult to involve them all to participate in this conference. I would like to thank all the speakers of this panel for your words, for your support, for your constant work with the Ukrainian companies and the state bodies, associations, and also for the development of the ecosystem in Ukraine. Thank you for that. And at this stage, I'll pass the floor again to Natalie, who will moderate the panel with our foreign representatives. Natalie.
Thank you, Andrew. So I would like to welcome speakers for next session, which is called Cooperation with Ukrainian Companies During the War, View from the Abroad. I think that it was really very interesting to know from Ukrainian exporters, how do they see the situation. But even more interesting to hear what international partners will tell from their side. And I would like to introduce for a speech Amos Ramsauer, the head of Bioproteins, CEO of AgriProtein from Germany. And I also would like to mention that Amos is very brave, because despite of the full-scale war, he came to Ukraine and visited his Ukrainian partners many times already. And it's also a very important sign that you understand what is happening in Ukraine and how your partners are doing there. So Amos, the floor is yours, please.
Okay, do you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you well.
Yes, I just need to start the presentation. One moment, please.
While you are started, I also would like to tell to participants that you have some important information also in chat, in English and in Ukrainian, and you could copy that links, or we can send it afterwards together with materials of today's conference. Yes,
Yeah.
we can see your screen.
Okay, great. So thank you very much, Natalie. It is a pleasure to participate on this conference for me. As you already mentioned, we as company Agro-Green are developing a strong relation to Ukrainian suppliers since a lot of years, since 2015, and I personally even a bit longer. So I realized that Ukraine is the country I visited most often, more than, for example, Austria or Switzerland or other surrounding companies around Germany. Coming to the topic from today, I just want to introduce a little bit our company. Our main business is to process organic soya beans in 2 different plants for stuff purposes. We have 2 different plants. One is located in Saxony-Anhalt and the other one in Nordrhein-Westfalen. Furthermore, we are planning to start with a toasting and other oil pressing activity in another place located in the western part of Germany. Besides this, and due to our network for purchasing soya, we are also engaged in raw material, organic agricultural raw materials. It's grains, pulses, oil seeds, and also oil cakes. Last but not least, we are involved as coordinator in a EU-funded project for organic protein concentrates and isolates. And main topic of this project is to find hexane-free extraction methods. Our company structure in 2023 in some numbers, our balance sheet is 16 million euros, the sales is 31 million euro. We are processing, or we have processed in 2022 more than 20,000 tons of organic soybeans, and but our company is still a small one. Including the workers in our plants, our number of employees is only 14. This is also a limit of our scope of activities and forces us to focus on the main important issues. Some information to our both sites. The one which is located in Minden, it is a cold pressing facility. We are doing the necessary heat treatment after the pressing. This site is located in the Midland and the cross point of Midland Channel and Weser, so we have a very good access by barges. And in Minden, we are currently processing mainly the so-called association organic related to Naturland or Bioland or BioSwiss. The other side we bought in 2021 is located in Sachsen-Anhalt in the small village of Wilspringen, which is 40 kilometers northwest of Magdeburg. Also located in Midland Channel, the capacity is a little bit larger, 100 tons per day, and we are doing there a hot pressing technology. As already mentioned, we are in strong cooperation with the main important organic associations in Germany, such as Naturland, Bioland, Biokreis, Biopark. Due to our sales to Switzerland, we are also partner of BioSwiss. Coming to our procurement, to our purchasing activities, most important is still European origin. And in Europe, Ukraine is the main important purchasing country. All other countries, such as Romania, Slovakia, Austria, Germany, Lithuania, have much lower importance for us. So Ukraine is really important for us, and for this reason we are really obliged to develop and save our business relation to Ukrainian agriculture, organic agriculture producers. Beside our European procurement, we are purchasing also in West Africa some soybeans, mainly in Togo and Benin, in close cooperation with farmer cooperatives. This kind of organic agriculture is totally different from European one, and it would be worth to explain it in another presentation, what we are doing there and what are the obstacles there, but this is not our today's topic. Yes, I skipped the quality requirements because they are well known. To the organic soy market, and this is also related to the topic of our experience with Ukrainian imports. We need to face currently a very volatile market with unstable and sometimes even falling price levels. It is a situation where we can't do long-term contracts, neither with our clients nor with our suppliers. A situation we don't like too much, because in the organic business, either in agriculture production, also in processing, long-term cooperations, long-term contracts are very necessary, but the current situation gives us not the chance to contract large volumes for periods long in the future. We are expecting that the situation will become better. We are expecting that the crisis, the economic crisis, which is causing the current difficulties, will be over in a couple of months, and we are just recognizing that the organic sales are again a bit increasing, not on a large level, but there's a restart to increase, and this is a very optimistic sign. Our main problem in our store market organic soy cake is the competition from China. We need to face that large volumes of organic cake from China are coming to Europe for very, very low prices, and the traceability is more or less unknown, and the certification background as well. I just want to say what one of our clients mentioned. If you are purchasing in Europe Chinese organic cake, the risk that it will be fraud is very high, but at the same time the risk that this fraud will be recognized is very, very low. So this is really the situation we need to consider once we are talking about organic soy cake market. Coming to the special experience with import from Ukraine, the challenges regarding the import from Ukraine are mainly allocated in the EU and Germany, not in the Ukraine itself. It is related to the difficult market situation, to difficulties in Ukrainian-Polish border with Polish customs, the situation that we can't import truck convoys under only one COI anymore, and the volatile transport situation. And to stabilize the situation, it is very necessary to investigate on other transport schemes such as trains and barges. Another issue, this is already my last slide for today, is the image problem of third-party imports. The organic market is more and more focused on regionality, and it is difficult to convince clients and parts of value chain that third country imports are necessary. Therefore, we started, and this is something, Natalie, you are also involved in, to create something which is promoting the image of Ukrainian products in a special way, to name those imports not only as third country imports, but to name it as organic quality coming from Ukraine, and this may help us a little bit to support Ukrainian imports, because the difficulties are currently not located in the export side. All our purchasers are doing a lot to enable exports, to organize transports, to provide all documents. So in principle, no issues regarding the export part of the situation. Problems are more located to the import part. I just want to come back to one sentence I heard from Turav. Turav, you mentioned that Ukrainian producers should focus more on products which are good for human consumption purposes instead of feedstuff purposes. In principle, regarding the long-term trend, you are right. But in the current situation, the acceptance of third countries' imports are better if the products are foreseen for feedstuff purposes, because for feedstuff purposes, it must not be labeled that the product does not come from Ukraine. So it is, of course, a little bit contradictory, the long-term perspective, that the animal livestock business will decrease, but in the short-term situation, I think it is necessary to provide organic raw materials for feedstuff purposes, because to import them into the EU is much easier. Okay, thank you very much for this opportunity to explain a little bit about my experience.
Thank you very much, Amos, for your presentation, and also for all support you are doing for Ukraine and your Ukrainian partners. And we hope very much that thanks to cooperation, as you told, long-term collaboration, we will really could bring to success many Ukrainian organic products to the shelves to the shelves and also to the farms of your countries. Thank you so much. And now I would like to invite for the speech the next speaker. And let me introduce you Aurimas Sutas, a head of sales Ecofarm from Lithuania. The floor is yours. We cannot hear you. Could you please switch on microphone? Thank you so much.
Do you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you well.
Okay, thank you. So, as mentioned, my name is Aurimas Šutas, actually, not Sutas, but, you know, in English, they don't have such a letter as we do in Lithuania. Yes, I'm the head of sales and actually one of the owners of the Ecofarm company, which is already more than 11 years in organic market. And I should mention that 99% of our turnover is organic, so we totally dedicated ourselves to organic market and do business only here. I should also mention that we started to outsource crops in Baltics in the beginning for the first 4 to 5 years, and after that. We started the next market for us, the sourcing market was actually Ukraine, and we bought the first lot of sunflower cakes made in Ukraine in that time. So we do buy a lot of sunflower cakes, corn, wheat from Ukraine. in general, we do about 75% of our turnover in feed crops like sunflower cake, corn, wheat, and then 25% of our turnover is food crops. What should I say? That the selling markets where we do sell our products are mainly Netherlands, Germany, France, Italy, then all the Scandinavia, Denmark, Sweden, Norway, and we also started to do some business in the USA. Our turnover in tons last season was 30,000 tons of the crops. So in general, we are not very big, but already not a very small company as well. I should also mention that we have our storage in Lithuania, and we have two storages in Lithuania, one in the port, another in next to the Polish border. Then we also do have a storage in Netherlands where we can accept vessels and trucks, and we have two storages in Germany where we can do also vessels and trucks. Yeah, so that's shortly about us. I will leave our contacts in the chat. If anybody wants to contact us, please feel free. What can I say about the war when it started? So actually, we stopped working, I think, for one week. And we are in close relationship with the local transport companies, and we try to find everything local, let's say, where we do source our products. So the local guys knows things the best. So we were, I think, the only company which were bringing sunflower cakes from Ukraine for 2 or 3 months, while everybody was standing, doesn't know what to do. And we had a guy who just rockets were landing and in Chernihiv region, and he was at the same time bringing his trucks from that region and bringing the goods for us. So it's really as I mentioned, it's really you need to have a good relationship with in the local market, so you can act and react the best in the market. Yeah, so actually the situation is still difficult. Mainly, I would mention problems with logistics. The logistics prices during that period went from maybe 70, 80 euro per metric ton to more than 200 euro per metric ton. And the main reason, I would say, is the Polish border, the Polish authorities, and the farmers and the transport companies, which are making so much noise. And with one hand, they try to help Ukraine with everything, but with another hand, they're taking and blocking, let's say, the main revenue from Ukraine. That's really not understandable from my point of view, and I don't really understand how is the European Commission and all the authorities where they're looking, and why they're not making the transit of the Ukrainian stuff, cereals, easier. Yeah, so I actually also mentioned the biggest, let's say, problems with the market and with the things Ukrainian farmers is facing. So I think in the beginning, the most important thing and the biggest problem was the energy cost. But from that, I mean that it was the high energy costs for the households in Europe were negatively related to the consumption of organic production. So actually the households has not so much money to spend on the product, so it's easier for them to, let's say, switch from organic to conventional. So that's how the market was. I think we lost about 15% of the market. Then another problem was those very high prices for logistics, and then third, uncertainty for everything. So the prices for organic crops raised enormously, sky high, and then again it reflected negatively on the consumption again. So we lost another 15%. So I think we have now about 30% of the market lost in the Western Europe, which is a very big numbers. Yeah, so these are the main things, and probably now the interest rate, the higher interest rates are also keeping the people with less money to spend for products, for good products like organic. So it will also will reflect somehow negatively. Another thing, the doubtful reputation companies like Teriyaki and Sunrise are coming to European market again. We heard that they brought some products. Most of the organic farmers know that companies, so they are not. They are bringing. I don't know. Should it be called organic, because they are working really in the bad way, and they have some issues in the USA and everywhere. And I don't understand how the companies like this are still in the market, but they are making the problems with that very cheap organic products, which is not possible to grow if you're really doing everything organic and not trying to cheat. So this is another bad sign for the market. Yeah, and that's probably all my insights for what we have noticed working, and we will keep on working. We will keep on supporting you as much as we can, and just if you need anything, let us know. We will try to do our best. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much for your insights, and I was very inspired with your messages that despite of all difficulties and all challenges which you face and together with your partners, thanks to good collaboration and thanks to, let's say, this great solidarity which you have, you continue supporting and you continue working and you continue to develop organic trade. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I would like to invite for the speech Dmytro Sidenko. He is an expert in export-import agro-trade product manager of Granoza and president of Ukrainian Swiss Business Association.
Yeah.
The floor is yours.
Thank you, Natalie. Yes, yeah, thank you. But today probably I'm more like expert of export-import organic products from Ukraine. Okay, so this is my main job by Granoza, which is a Swiss company. I think most of Ukrainian organic producers already know us because we are from 2014 at Ukrainian market. And yeah, I personally saw all this big impact which Switzerland gave to Ukraine to develop organic production in Ukraine. Thanks FIBL, thanks SECO for this, and all your teams. So today, as I understand, we are here not to represent our company like self-presentation, probably more to speak about the problems what Ukrainian organic exporters and producers have now, and make some prognosis, or maybe to share our vision how it will develop in future. Am I right, Natalie? Okay. So if we taken out the huge impact of the war, so we can say that generally the development of Ukrainian organic sector was more or less predictable. Okay, war of course made a lot of troubles with logistic, a lot of troubles with financing, but we should see the whole situation of organic market, and I'm here fully agree with previous speaker that in general world organic market, or at least European organic market, losing his market position. So because of inflation and energy costs, of course, some customers or people switching back from organic segment to conventional. And we can see this also in Switzerland. It's not something special. It happens in everywhere. And now we can say probably that organic products on the shelter in supermarkets again move into direction like semi-premium products for most of the customers. Yes. And this gave a big impact to us as traders, and big impact to producers. So, for example, if we take last harvest 2022, what we can see. So, yes, already on Biofach, we realized that almost minus 15% or 20% of sales of bio product in Europe, and of course it's impacting Ukrainian export statistic. We can see that demand for bio products or organic products is not growing. So from my perspective of view, we will see the depression of this market next probably 1-2 years, as a part of global depression of the world market. And of course, from other side, we have this factor of the war, which put our Ukrainian agro producers on very hard conditions. It's a pity I was not able to be involved today all 3 hours of this conversation, and that's why probably I missed the answer to the question. For example, these trading barriers which made by Europe, so Poland, Hungary, and other countries for Ukrainian grains, they also make some impact to organic grains, as I can understand, probably. And it can happen, if not, I can expect that it will happen sooner or later, because generally there is no big difference between organic grains and conventional grains for protecting markets. What else? And we can see also the situation doesn't change for the place of Ukraine in production chain Europe, organic. Yes, so we are still talking about Ukraine as a supplier of raw materials, which these raw materials, if we are talking about, for example, wheat, soya, corn, the main position in organic trade, we are not talking right now about niche product, which is small and have nothing compared to this big position. Nobody knows such a big volume in Europe. I mean, it's as in conventional, but conventional was really easy before the war to send to Asia and Africa, which is not a customer for organic product, customer market for organic product. And Europe, who is main market for organic generally don't need 20,000 or 30,000 tons of Ukrainian organic spelt, for example. And we can see now where is now all Ukrainian spelt, still from the last crop, still in Ukraine. Okay, so I see that this situation we have every 4 or 5 years. Ukraine can produce so much organic raw material, which generally Europe doesn't need, EU. And this is the main challenge for Ukraine in the future also. I mean, we still have offer from Ukraine for soybeans organic, for corn organic, for wheat, for spelt. In 1 or 2 months, a new crop will come. It means we have so big stock position, which also means the Ukrainian organic farmers freeze their money and they are not able to develop. I think in this case, I don't know, probably it's also the open question to all the service teams who help Ukrainian to grow as organic, how to change it. Because if it will continue and people will every 3 years grow so much products which nobody wants to buy, it can put the organic producers back to conventional, I can suppose. Well, this is my prognosis. And Aurimas Sutas, you completely right. I told this already 6 years ago. Our next problem, for example, this is Kazakhstan. Organic Kazakhstan with Turkey in the middle of organic trade. And some countries in Europe, we should be open, yes. For example, I received the offer for organic flaxseed from Kazakhstan, 1,000 tons. Is it really organic? I don't know. So, I mean, is it really produced like organic? But they still have certificate and price. It's devastating for other country who can try to produce it as organic. And if 6-7 years ago, when we talking about Kazakhstan, it was only 2 products, flaxseed and wheat. Now Kazakhstan is already in soya. Kazakhstan is already in corn production. And it's only the question of time when they will come in the European market with full range of organic product, which is certified by Turkish or, I don't know, some other small certification body, still have certificates, and they can just give the price minus 20-30% for price which it should cost for the farmers from Ukraine, even from the Poland, Czech, and other country. I don't speak for price, how it much costs for German farmers. It's a completely different. Yes, it's a history. So I will appreciate if you can ask me some question. Probably it will be also easy for me to share my opinion on different issues. But
let me ask you a question regarding your statement.
Yes.
So you mentioned about these problems and about long-term perspective and about competitiveness as well issue. What solution do you propose for Ukraine really to overjump all those challenges, and not even maybe for Ukraine, but for Ukraine and Ukraine's partners abroad who could help Ukraine to stay in the market, to really not lose the market, and also within such difficult situation be competitive?
So, okay, let's try avoid the politics, yes, today, but we should say, okay, the main problem for organic sector is that Ukraine is still third part country, okay? So if anyone, any mill in Europe have choice to buy something EU origin from Czech, from Poland, from Slovakia, doesn't matter, even from Bulgaria, from Hungary, for the same price or a little bit higher, for plus €5, for example, per ton, maize, soya, wheat, anything, they will prefer to buy this than to use Ukrainian products. So only because Ukraine is still have status third country for organic, we are losing a possibility to trade in the same price. So the first Ukrainian product should be cheaper, okay? And Ukraine can win something only if deficit happens on the market. Which is
Ukraine will soon be a member of EU.
Okay, yes. Yes. As Ukrainian,
nobody believed in this, and
yes, as Ukrainian, I'm fully with you. I want this. I don't see differences between Ukraine and other countries in Europe. I mean, why we cannot be? But it's about politics, and I don't believe it as a realistic. Yes, I don't believe it. Sorry. Next 5 years. Sorry to say. Maybe next government, next generation somehow can achieve this. If it will happen earlier, I will be very happy. Not only me, I think everybody who is present today here in our webinar will be also happy. But at present moment, we have this. So second decision, which is not political but economical, almost 1 month ago in Lugano, in a business conference, we have agro discussion also about agro sector, and there was several Ukrainians agro producers who already jumped to European market, not with the raw material, but already with the finished products for shelves in supermarket. And I think this is something which can be very, very suitable and strategically right for organic producers, or I mean small and medium, okay? So who can create some like joint venture for processing and enter European market already with finished products, which can be put on the retail network, and that's how we can first have bigger added value, and second, this competition will be for them, I think, more strategically right than trying to sell raw material to the market, which generally doesn't need it. So, as I told already, Ukrainian producers of grains and oilseeds, it can only win something if it is deficit on the market. But to rely on this situation as your strategy, this is completely wrong for every business. You cannot, if you are a producer, you just cannot do this for all range of your products. Maybe for one, to keep it for speculation, okay, but you cannot keep corn 3 years on the stock, waiting when the price go up. Okay, it's just physically almost not possible, and economically also have no sense. There is no such big volatility in these crops. So I think the next is processing, and we already can see the examples in Ukraine, also in conventional, but I'm sure it will come soon in organic sector, when several producers create an industrial hub for processing and trying to reach world market with end product. I think this is the main point. And of course, diversification. I understand spelt is super crop to grow. It's very easy. I mean, you cannot compare to grow spelt with other cultures, but it doesn't mean you need to use If you have 10,000 hectares of land, you need to use 5,000 for the spell, and then you cannot sell this amount. It's very easy. You need to diverse your production program and to understand for whom you are producing this. I mean, it's general problem for all farmers, not only organic. All farmers in the world, the first question, what I should grow this season? Yes, normally in February, January, they start to think about spring crops, and in 2 months, they will start to think about the winter crops.
Yes,
but somehow, maybe as an idea, if I would be a farmer, I need some analytic. I need to speak probably with you guys and ask them, hello, I have like 5,000 hectares. What should I grow? Just help me, because somebody need to give this analytic to them to let them avoid this year mistake, to grow something which they cannot sell then. I don't say it should be 100% precisely, but at least to share the vision. I think they will be very appreciated.
Thank you, Dmitro, for all your ideas and your analysis. And I would like to ask the same question to two other speakers of this panel, Amos and Aurimas. What are your solutions or ideas? How for Ukraine to stay at the market, to be competitive, and to continue its work?
So, if possible, I will start, Amos, okay?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so as Dmitro was saying the story about the spelt, so I could tell the same story about the buckwheat and probably a million of other crops. So what we usually do when we talk to our farmers, we always try to consult them and to give them a perspective of what crops we see will be able to market and export, and what crops probably have no future, at least for 1 or 2 seasons in front. So we usually speak and try to consult them, and this is actually every farmer should have the partner, let's say, who is buying the crops from them, and maybe not one. And they should closely speak with their buyers. What are they thinking? Because, you know, when the spelt price is almost 1,000 euro, nobody is asking, will it be the same price for the next season? They just grow it. And then they realize that nobody needs it anymore. So it's, you know, sometimes it's a greediness, I would say, of the farmer. Sometimes it's maybe not the right word, but stupidness. But they should be also more open, and they should look at their land and to understand what is what has the biggest potential of growing. So I think that's the best way to do, because, you know, we are very close always to the buyers, and we feel the market much better than the farmer. So I think that would be that's how I would do in their situation. Amos, please.
Thank you very much for your statement. I think it's really a very important message to all producers, that you really need to be transparent and on regular contact with your potential buyers and your partners from international countries, because they really know better what will be in demand. Amos, please, the floor is yours.
Yes, thank you. In principle, I'm sorry that I need to agree to Dmitro. I mentioned already.
Amos, unfortunately, we cannot hear you. Something with your connection. Could you please repeat?
In the chat.
Amos, we are very sorry.
So,
Amos, we are very sorry. We couldn't hear you. Could you please repeat your statement from the beginning?
Yes, once again, I totally agree with Dimitro. Situation is
We only
quite,
can hear that you agreed with Dmitro twice.
It's already good.
That's already the
say
message.
desperate, even in European.
But could you, Amos?
I've switched off my video. Perhaps
Off your camera, and then we'll tell again the statements.
Yeah.
We didn't hear you well. Thank you.
Yeah, I try to do my best. Is desperate, spelled as in large volumes still in European storage places. What we can do in this moment is to bring the products which have a demand in European Union. The recommendation to Ukrainian farmers is to not to produce again more and more products which are not requested. Perhaps it is also a chance to invest a little bit into the soil to do in this very difficult market situation some green manure crops, which of course are not cash crops, but that may be the best regarding the investment for the future. Yes, but of course it is very difficult to recommend something which is really helpful on a short notice.
Thank you so much, Amos. And here I would like also to ask for a comment, Ivan, who wrote in the chat that he disagrees with some statements. Could you please, Ivan, share your opinion on this? Please contribute.
Yes. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you well.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. So one thing that I wanted to say is that from my perspective and from the for the past 5 years, what I've been doing and the other companies that I see, like I'm sure that Andre Clar would agree with me. Traditionally, the organic actors, they were raw materials, but it's been changing very rapidly in the past few years. And I would say that that's a false statement that, the products from Ukraine would have to be sold cheaper, because from what we see from our figures is that, first of all, the demand in 2022 for the organic produce from Ukraine was stronger, and for the end product at least, and that the countries that we were not able to sell to even in 2021, they were very eager to buy Ukrainian produce, and they were very eager to buy Ukrainian produce at I know for a fact that we have had, as a company, we produce organic blueberries, the end product. And so we pack them and we export them directly to the retailers. And I know for a fact that 2 Polish companies have lost their contracts with EU supermarket chains because of what we are doing. And I know for a fact that they're paying us higher than they used to pay to Polish companies. So this directly contradicts what Andre has said, what Dmitro has said, sorry. And I think that the future of Ukrainian organic produce, and this is something that probably all of us agree with, is in the end product, is in the process. Is we have to stop becoming a raw materials country, but we have already started doing that in the past few years. I think the war has stalled that progress a little bit, but still, you'd see more and more Ukrainian companies in the region that would be penetrating the EU market with the end product. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ivan, for your positive statement. And I would like to ask Aurimas to comment as well.
Yes, I would like to comment, Ivan. I would like to. I'm very happy, Ivan, that you had such a nice story. But I would because I'm not in the business of the berries, so I cannot tell you much. But from the grain side, I can tell you that most of the market really doesn't care if it's Ukrainian or if it's European. I think it's a good way because Dmitro was telling that Ukrainians should be cheaper. it's not like this anymore. Let's say, if it's it maybe depends to the market. If you want to recertify as Naturland or Bioland or whatever, then probably yes, European product has some priority. But if you are doing let's say just an EU organic standard, so your Ukrainian stuff is selling the same as Lithuanian stuff, and the which is cheaper, you are selling the one which is cheaper, and so that's what I see from what we are doing, and we are doing really in tens of thousands of tons. So that's my experience.
Thank you very much for sharing your experience. And I would like also to give the floor to Dmytro. He also would like to comment on this issue.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, I think here we have an issue that we are talking with, so Ivan talking about a little bit different, so or completely different product range. As I understand, really, we cannot compare berry market and grain trade market and oil seeds market, and I'm sure everybody understand the question. Okay, if the price is the same and the product is available, every processing factory in Europe will prefer for the same price with the same quality to buy EU origin product. There is, we cannot do nothing with this, okay? And this is a fact. If we are talking about wheat, soya beans, and there is no deficit on the market, every buyer will prefer to have deal with European supplier, with European origin, because it's easier to handle, it's easier to pay for, it's easier to certified end product than as EU Bio. You don't need to go to these traces. You don't have issues with the customer, okay? It's very easy. If I'm buying from Poland wheat, I don't need to make custom clearance. That's it. It's already impact to the price, because every hour of every person in the company costs money. And if I need to involve in this at least some logistics specialist, then I need to involve the custom clearing agency. Then I need to work with this transaction paper. Okay, then you need to put these two traces. It's already impact to the price, impact to the whole business process. This is first case. Then we will not have if I'm producing the flour from the wheat, I prefer that on my final packaging it will stay EU origin. That's it. I mean, it's very easy then to sell it to the bakery industry, this flour or this bakery mission. I forgot this in English. Sorry. Mix, bakery mix. Yes. And this is the fact, and this is how we should understand. That's why I told the first issue, this is this border, okay? And Ivan just confirmed my third point, that if you are going to retail, if you are going to the end product processing, you can be more successful on the European market, because it's easier than to speak about the quality of your product than about the price, because you're talking about the final product, you're talking about packaging, marketing, advertisement, and quality. And then price, it's already a little bit second issue. But if you're talking about raw material, in wheat, it's just several, so it's purity, it's humidity, it's protein, and that's it. So, and there is 1,000 tons of the same products you can buy in France, who is netto exporter, if they have a good crop. And of course, German will buy from France or Switzerland, or local production, or you can buy this from Hungary. So we are talking about a little bit different businesses, okay? And in berry, it's one thing, and Ukraine is pretty successful in berry business. We should be glad for this. But in main crops, in big volumes, we're still facing this problem, which I agree with my colleagues from the trade. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Dmytro, for your statements. And Ivan, I saw that you raised the hand. Would you like to comment as well?
Yes, please. I agree with Dmytro on his last statement about the retail and the end product. But I was not only talking about the berries. There's also honey. There's a lot of packaged snacks. There's actually a lot of end product into the EU markets, which are very successful. But one thing I still disagree with is when Dmytro is talking about the prices and goes into the price, that I would just comment to say that does not affect it affects the price, but this is more of a margin issue, not the price issue. So as Ukrainian exporters, we do face some additional surcharges, definitely because of the border. We do face additional certifications. We do face, there's quite a lot that goes into that. And I can tell you that as an exporter. But the other thing is that there are also some things that are cheaper in Ukraine than they are in the EU. So all things considered, though, I think that for the exporter, in terms of the price, and I'm sure that we can agree on that, if we talk about the margins on the products that the Ukrainian exporters get, and the margins the exporters, even probably France, get for their grains, I would say that as Ukrainians, we're not in a very bad position because we do face some additional charges, but also some other things are significantly cheaper than they are in the EU. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I think that we had very nice discussion on this issue, and I would like also to underline about importance to understand that partnership is also very high value, and solidarity with Ukraine, especially within this difficult time, would be really very important for joint good results at the end. And I think it's really important to mention about this, to discuss about this, to cooperate with Ukrainian exporters, and also to find long-term and win-win approach patterns for own collaboration, and also to involve other exporters from Ukraine for collaboration. I would like to thank two speakers of this session. It was very good insight information. It was very good discussion, and I would like to thank you for all your contribution to share your opinion on this. And I would like to give the floor to co-moderator Andrew with a final call for action from my side, that please collaborate with Ukraine, with partners from exporters, from service providers, certification bodies, NGOs, state institutions. It's really very important. Andrew, please.
Thank you, Natalie. I will be short in my conclusions, and I would like also thank all the participants, all the partners, all the co-organizers of this conference for being here with us, for the support, for doing business, for keeping economic front working. Also, I would like to thank our organizers and co-organizers, Organic Standard Certification Body, Organic Initiative, Switzerland within the framework of the Swiss-Ukrainian program, and our Ministry, of course, of Agrarian Policy. And as Natalia mentioned, only partnership, only joint work allows us to develop synergies and get the best result in the best way. And on behalf of the office, thank you all for your support, for your significant contribution to the development of Ukraine and, of course, the victory. Today, it's not just about only business, it's also about people relationships, about trust, about communication, about long-term partnership. And I wish all you good luck and long-term partnership And I hope the next event, I hope that the last year in June that this event will be offline this year, but unfortunately, still I hope that the next event will be offline in Kyiv, and we will be glad to see you all here. And glory to Ukraine. Thank you.
Слава Україні!